Hey, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar and Lathab Hashem Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK, Center 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jerry Yohana. Understand this is the ISUPK Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class. And I'm Precinct Officer 500 Arat. All right. And as the title says, we're going to be going over part 2 of Regeneration. We're going to finish up that topic of which, that I didn't finish the last time I taught. You understand? Before we get into the topic, though, I'm just going to ask that everybody does their part and make sure that they like and share the class. You understand? Lucky. Make sure that everybody likes and shares the class. You understand? Do your part to make sure that this truth gets pushed out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? And you should do that with anything that you see with ISUPK. You understand? All of our classes. There's always a class going on somewhere in the world, at some, damn near all the time. You understand? Make sure that you always like and share all of those classes. You understand? I'm going to go ahead and do that myself. Also, if there's anyone that's online that has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. You understand? I will answer your questions to the best of my ability scripturally. You understand? If I'm unable to do so myself, I will let you know. But I will get your answer by going to a man that's mightier than myself. You understand? This is not the Christian church where we're just going to, tell you things that, make you feel good, just sound good. You understand? We actually prove all things and we deal with nothing but the truth. You understand? Just give me one moment to like and share myself, and then we'll get into this topic. Why is it being weird? Let's lock it. There we go. Share the group. All right. So the last class we taught on it, we didn't finish Regeneration, but we were going over regeneration according to the Bible, right? We basically established that, when you die, you don't necessarily die and just go to heaven or hell, right? In the context of that's where your spirit goes. You get regenerated back here onto earth. You understand? You get a new body, new flesh. You understand? A new life. It's a restart. You understand? And that comes out of the Bible. All right. Let me just like and share it from YouTube, and then we'll pick up from where we left off. We're picking up at the book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 9. The book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 9. All right. So lucky. All right, and then get my notes off my phone. So the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 9. Now that I got that completed. All right. Get there myself. get this started. Oops. Ooh. That's like let's see. Any questions online while I'm doing this? Feel free to post it. Ask your questions. If not, then we'll just get into the topic. Well, it looks like I don't see anything, which is all right. All right. So Job 8 and 9. Okay. All right. So this is the book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 9. For we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. You understand? We are of yesterday. So, that's going to say that, we are from a time from before. You understand? And even though we have, we're from a time from from a time from before, you understand? All this time that we've been here, we still know nothing. Because mind you as well, like the scripture says, we don't remember things of our past lives. You understand? And just think about how terrible that would be if you did remember everything from your past lives. Like the trauma of, the Atlantic slave trade. Would you really want to remember all of that past, the recorded history so that we can learn from it and also know, for one, that's a key identifier of who we are according to the Bible. You understand? But it also shows who the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of is. You understand? Because of the terrible atrocities that the so-called white man had committed to us during the time of, the Atlantic slave trade. And quite frankly, even still today, it never stopped. And you know why it never stopped? Because the people that were here 400 years ago that were enslaving us is still here today, keeping us enslaved and oppressed. You understand? But because our days upon earth are a shadow. Now that's just saying because, a shadow comes and goes very quickly, just like your life. Y'all really think about it, man. Life really isn't all that long. It is, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? 100 years really, you live to 70, 80, 90, 100 years. That's really not that long, especially with how many times that you've already lived in the first place, right? All that time that's already transpired. You understand? We're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 1. The book of John, chapter 9 and verse 1. And Salakia for my voice. Going in and out, Salakia. Okay. All right, this is the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 1. And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Now, right here is, you understand, right here is a key identifier. And mind you, this is in the New Testament. And they're asking Christ, hey, did this man, the blind man, did his parents sin? Or did he sin so that when he was born, he came into the world blind? You understand? So how else could you sin? Now, we all understand that sin is the breaking and the transgression of the law, right? That's in 1 John, I believe 5 and 3 or 3 and 4. Understand? Actually, let's get that real quick. Just go ahead and get that real quick. We're going to go to the book of 1 John. I believe it's 3 and 4. Okay, yeah. The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, For sin is the transgression of the law. Now, let's go back to what we just read, 1 John 9:2. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? So how is it that he was able to sin before he was born, so that he would come into the world blind? Well, I mean, right here, and mind you, this is in the New Testament. It's letting you know that you do not die and then go to heaven, you go to hell. No, you die and you get regenerated back. And that's what his disciples was inquiring about. Did he sin before he came back into this life? Or was it, or is this the punishment inflicted on him from his sins and transgressions of his parents? You understand? Do I want to read the rest of that? Nah. So we'll leave that there. But y'all understand that we've always known about regeneration. We actually have a real understanding of what life is. You understand? And you know why? It's because we read the Bible. You understand? The Israelites who actually study this Bible, which quite frankly is only in the ISUPK, where only where the truth is, only where the truth resides is here in the ISUPK. We understand the cycle of life. You understand? We understand that, we die, we come back, we live our lives, and then rinse and repeat, basically. You understand? You see it in nature, and hell, quite frankly, you see it when, you dealing with, with these little kids. Like, man, that's an old soul. There's a reason why people say things like that. You understand? Because quite frankly, that soul is old. Little man acting, beyond his age, it's because he has been here before. We all have. You understand? All right, let's drop that. And we're going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 29. Damn, man, I got to sneeze. I hate when that happens. It's lucky. 104, verse 29. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 29. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. So this is talking about, the Most High dealing with us with our life cycle. You understand? Because eventually he turns away from us basically so that we would die, right? And our bodies return to the dust. Verse 30, thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. You understand? So you are renewed on the face of the earth. And how? You're born again. Literally. You understand? Not that Christian way where they think that they get dunked in the water and then now they're born all over again. They just now they're sin-free. The transgressions have been washed away. No, you are born again literally through, your father and your mother conceiving you and your mother pushing you out. You understand? And giving birth to you. You understand? So the Bible literally talks about how, the cycle of life. You understand? And it makes you think, where they come up with this ridiculous concept of when you die, you go to either heaven or hell. Which the funny thing about that is everybody who dies apparently they all go to heaven. Save maybe Hitler to certain people. That don't even make no damn sense. You understand? And I said it last time in the last class, and we might actually go over it today, what heaven and hell is actually. We might actually break that down tonight if we have time, which I think we might. You understand? So, thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. So there's a time, you have your life in this flesh. Eventually you're gonna die, your flesh returns to the dust, and then then eventually, your spirit is taken away, and then eventually your spirit is renewed on the earth with, a new body. Which, I mean, some people, like we were just read in John 9:01, some people are born blind and would like the ability to see. Guess what? That next life, that might just be so for that brother, for that sister. You understand? They'll actually have that opportunity. You might have to live this life in darkness. That's between, you understand, that individual and the Most High. Most High wanted that to be so for, the manifestation of Himself, so that y'all, we can actually learn and see that for ourselves, that the Most High is with us. The Most High will heal us if we do what we're supposed to do. You understand? But in that next life, hey, that brother might come back and have goddamn Hawkeyes. He'll see so doggone good. You understand? You just never know. All right. Let's drop that. Now we're going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 35. Book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 35. All right. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. We shall live again. Let's read that again. For after death shall the judgment come. So after you die, your judgment will come his way, right? We all kind of understand that from the Christian church. Of course, Christians believe that when you die, that judgment is going to heaven or hell, right? When we shall live again. So you're going to die and then live all over again, and you're going to get your judgment there. So if you was a wicked bastard in your last life, where you was just greedy and lustful and, doing all manners of wickedness, that actually just, quite frankly, it might explain the condition that you are in now, where you have absolutely nothing. Now, mind you, as well, let's not forget, we're still being oppressed today. You understand? We are still in our captivity. That's the word I wanted to use. You understand? We still are in captivity under the so-called white man. But you as an individual, I mean, if you was a wicked person, you just, that's your explanation as to why your life is just overly difficult today. You understand? Overly hard for you today. You understand? And of course, this is your opportunity to get it right, so you don't have to have another life like this all over again. You understand? And that also speaks for the nation, for the entire nation, for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? If we all come together collectively as a nation and start serving the Most High God like we are supposed to, man, our oppression ends. In fact, it ends so good, we get to sit in the seat of power. We get to rule. You understand? We'll be in our kingdom, in our heaven. Of course, we live in the heaven. You understand? In the flesh. You understand? Your flesh will be in heaven, not just your spirit goes up into the clouds where there's some city. You understand that basically what Christianity teaches you. It's not like that. It'll be here on earth. You understand? For you to get regenerated into forever. You understand? We just got to get ourselves right first. You understand? Let's read that again from the top. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. You understand? So I don't know about y'all, but like this verse gives me hope on the fact that, these devils, that did all sorts of manner of atrocities to the so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation people here in America, actually just all throughout history. So let's be real. Them devils have always been wicked, always been evil, always been terrible. You understand? But, you know, particularly the things that they did to us during the Atlantic slave trade. You understand? Here in America, where they would take our babies, newborn babies, not even a year yet, and they would tie ropes around their feet and then go get in a boat, you understand, in like Louisiana, in the bayous, and throw that baby in the back out into the water and drive that boat through the water and feed them gators. Used us as gator bait. You understand? Or for those of y'all that aren't tracking what the Trail of Tears is, you know why it's called the Trail of Tears? Because while we was, you know, we was being moved, the Native Americans was being moved out, right? So I believe it's Oregon, I believe. Could be wrong on that point. But the point is the way that it got its name. They call it the Trail of Tears because when we weren't able to quiet our babies, mind you, our babies, what these goddamn devils did was rip that baby away from their mother and then by the foot go and smack that baby over a rock, smashing his head on that rock. The Trail of Tears got its name because the mothers and the fathers were constantly crying over the loss of their children because they cried. That's what babies do. You understand? But the so-called white man is just such a goddamn devil. He's such a deviant. He don't care. You understand? He don't give a damn. So these verses like this, gives me hope that those atrocities will be paid. They will pay for that in blood and in labor. You understand? Because wait, you think that the kingdom of heaven is just gonna, just fall on the earth? That's Christianity. No, it's gonna be built on the backs of them bastards. You understand? Their children are gonna build our kingdom. You understand that? I pray that you do. I pray that it gives you the same type of hope that it gives me, that all of these terrible atrocities that is happening to the so-called Black, Latino, and First Nation men and women, these atrocities will not go unpunished. You understand? And of course, that also goes for y'all. So-called Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. Just because we're Israelites doesn't mean that, we'll be looked over for the atrocities that we commit, especially to our own people. The hatred that we show our own people, our own nation. You understand? You're gonna pay for that. And quite frankly, that's what we're doing right now here in America, actually in the four corners of the earth, where we're hated by everybody. We're the greatest people on the face of the earth, but yet to everyone, we are at the bottom, which in reality and in time, we will be where we're supposed to be, and that's on top. You understand? Let's leave it. I'm gonna read out just one more time. Maybe this additional reading will help invigorate y'all's hope like it does with me. That goddamn it, these white people. Hell, and it's not even just the whites. You understand? It's also the so-called Africans. These so-called Asians. Don't even get me started on these doggone Asians, man. If there's anybody that I hate as much as I hate the so-called white man, is the so-called Asians. It's lucky. The Moabites and Ammonites, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, man, lucky. Don't even get me started on that. The book is 2nd Esdras, chapter 14 and verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. You understand? So it'll be declared which of us was being ungodly and which of us was being righteous. Because you know what? At the end of the day, these heathens cannot be godly or ungodly. They cannot be righteous. You understand? Because they don't have the law. You understand? So if the law was not given to them, that opportunity is not for them to have in the first place. You understand? All right. You know what? Let's go ahead and drop that. But y'all understand that? So at the end of the day, you know, this being godly and ungodly, being righteous and ungodly, being is really only pertains to us. But that still doesn't mean that they don't regenerate like we do, that their punishment is still going to come. It does mean that their punishment is still going to come. It's going to have his way. I mean, at the end of the day, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, or as the world ignorantly knows him as Jesus Christ in English, understand, he never said that he was, when he returns, he's not coming to bring peace. He's coming to bring a sword, which means he's coming to bring war. He is coming to kill these bastards, enslave these bastards for the atrocities that they committed against his people, whom of which he loves dearly, loves so much he gave the ultimate sacrifice, you understand, for his people. And that was for him being an innocent man dying for you, so-called Black, Latino, and First Nation men and women. You understand? We got to have that same mentality, man. Have them same actions as he did. And that's how we're going to get the kingdom. That's how we're going to get Christ to come back and goddamn, man, tear this place to shreds. You understand? Get rid of all this wicked, man. Just all this evil that's on the face of the earth. Because and it's all here because time and time again, the wicked people that continuously be regenerated, man, they're in their wrong seat. And that is the seat of power. You understand? But you know what? The only way to dethrone them is, hey, we get ourselves right, do what we're supposed to do. And that's follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? All right, let's drop that. We're going to go to the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 14. Book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 14. Man, Slocky, I got to sneeze again, but I keep going away. Slocky, y'all. All right. This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, "It is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from God to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life." You understand? That's because these doggone devils, they're gonna get killed off. You understand? We understand that when we get regenerated, when we are reincarnated, we return to the earth after we die, we return, man, we actually have an opportunity for life. Nobody actually has a real opportunity for life. You know why? It's the same reason why the Bible is called the book of life. You understand? It's called the book of life because this book right here teaches you how to actually live. You understand how you're supposed to conduct yourself, how you're supposed to deal with the other nations, how you're supposed to deal with your own people. You understand what to and what not to eat, or what you can and cannot eat. You understand the things that essentially will get you killed, what will get you keep you protected. You understand? That's the book of life. Nobody else has the understanding of the book of life besides the Israelites. You understand? Besides us. You understand? Because this Bible was written by and for us. Was it FUBU for us, by us? You understand? That's the Bible. It was written by so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. Just like men. Written by men. You understand? But it was written for Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? It was written for our people. It's written by our people, for our people, not nobody else. So they can't have, that's why they can't even understand it. You got what I think, what are the numbers for for Christianity. I think Christianity right now is like, it's somewhere north of 1 billion with a B, right? But yet, out of all those billions of people, they don't have the understanding of the Bible. They don't understand that you're not supposed to eat pork, that the law is not done away with. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody can understand this Bible but us. You understand? It's like, what was that? 14? I want to hit 15. Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna drop that, and we're gonna go to the book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 10. The book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 10. And if anybody has any questions, you understand, man, post it in the chat. Whether it's on topic or off topic, you understand. The worst question is the question that's not asked, right? It's lucky. All right. Lost my place. There we go. All right. So there's no questions. All right. The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 10, right? And his disciples asked him, saying, when they say the scribes that Elias must come first. And Yahushua answered them, said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. You understand? John the Baptist was Elias. Y'all understand that? This is a direct, you can't dispute what was just said right here. The fact that Christ right now is speaking of regeneration. You understand that? Elias, like John the Baptist, Elias. John the Baptist didn't know he was Elias. Y'all understand it? But Christ knew that. Nobody else knew that, but Christ did. And they didn't understand it until Christ had broke that down, like it says right here. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. What is that letting you know? John the Baptist was regenerated. That's Elias. Elias was regenerated to be called John the Baptist. You understand? There is no dispute. You do, again, I cannot stress it enough. You do not die and go to some fairyland called heaven. You do not have an opportunity to die and go to a place called hell where you're going to be tortured by some red devil with a tail and a pitchfork. Sounds like that sounds like a stupid fantasy. It sounds like that stupid, I like when I hear stuff like that, I just think of, like them stupid paintings of them Hindu gods and stuff like that, where they're trying to depict what Kali and what's the other one? Was it Kali and Faj? And I don't know what the hell their names are. It's lucky. I don't know their doggone names. What's a tranny one? I can't think of his name. Its name. He interchanges between man and feet. I think it's Shiva. I think it's Shiva. That's where the custom of the dreadlocks come from them Hindu people. You understand? That's all I think of is just them stupid paintings. Now you're just talking about a red man in the same context, and it's Disney. It's foolish. It's ridiculous. You understand? But you know what? This Bible. You remove all that ooky spooky nonsense from the Bible and see that this is talking real, man, all of these things actually make sense. Regeneration makes sense. You understand? It makes perfect sense. Right? All right, so let's drop that. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 19 and verse 27. Book of Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. Right? The book of Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, y'all know this is Christ speaking right now, right? You know, as the world ignorantly knows him as Jesus Christ, that's who's speaking right now. Yahushua Mashiach in the Hebrew, right? He's speaking. This is written in red. Read that again, what he said. Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, plainly said it. You understand? Regeneration is literally in the Bible. It is literally taught by our King. You understand? Yahushua Mashiach, or Jesus Christ in the English. You understand? In the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So in the kingdom, he's talking about the doggone kingdom. You understand? When you do what you are supposed to do and follow Christ, follow after Christ, follow his footsteps, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, this is your reward. You understand? To sit to have a throne to sit on and judge Israel, because you have proven yourself worthy. You understand? And that's what's going to happen in the regeneration, because eventually you're going to die. And then you're going to come back. And guess what? When you die in the kingdom, you come back, you're still going to be in the kingdom. You understand that? And if you get that crown of rulership going into the kingdom, guess what? When you die in the kingdom and you get regenerated back into the kingdom again, that crown is sitting there waiting for you. You understand? Each and every single time. That is our reward, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. That is our reward for doing as we are commanded by the Most High God. You understand? By following after Yahushua Mashiach's footsteps, like we are to do. You understand? All right. We're going to drop that now. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 14, verse 17. Oh, no, Slaki. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14. Ecclesiasticus, Slaki, chapter 14, and verse 17. All right. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14, and verse 17. It's like Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14, verse 17. All flesh waxeth old as a garment, for the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death. You understand? Everybody's going to die. Even though that the white man's right now, I don't know if y'all really pay attention and follow some of the technology that these devils are trying to create. You know, part of it is being immortal. If y'all seen that one show on Netflix, oh damn, I forgot what it was called. But basically, you're able, they update, they upload their consciousness into these like little discs. So, you know, all of these bodies are just, you know, they're basically just grown. You can buy certain bodies and stuff like that with certain abilities and heightened strength, heightened speed, heightened vision, you know, all these little, damn, what is that show called? That show's look kind of good, actually. You understand? They're actually trying to develop that. Or for those of y'all that have watched Black Mirror, how they're able to upload their consciousness into this cloud and stuff like that, so that when you die, you don't actually die. You understand? Your consciousness is uploaded into this cloud where you can live in this time frame and in any time frame that you want for the rest of eternity. You understand? They're trying to develop the technology to immortalize themselves. You understand? But what does this say again? Oop, did I lose my place? Doggone it. There it is. All flesh waxeth old as a garment. Everybody's going to die. You understand? Everybody's going to get old, just like your garment. Eventually, that garment is going to get, it's going to get old and beat up and holy and whatnot. And all of us, moth's going to eat it. You know what I'm saying? For the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death. Everybody's going to die. You understand? There's no escaping this. Right? Verse 18. As of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow. So this is the generation of flesh and blood. One cometh to an end and another is born. See, this is exactly why I said what I said earlier, that, with the cycle of life and regeneration, you just look at nature. You understand? You just look at how things are conducted with the trees, with animals, the whole process. And honestly, think about how terrible it would really be if like what was it? The Drake said it. You only live once. The YOLO, stupid ass saying YOLO. Think about how terrible that would be if that were true. You get one life, and for a good 400 years, our people were just being beaten and mistreated, and that's the only life they get to live. Or think about, the atrocities that happen to a lot of these kids in this world that we live in, where they get beaten and molested, and sometimes to the point so violently that they don't even get to see their teenage years. They don't even get to grow up to be an adult, but that's the one life they get to live, and that's it. I mean, like, come on, man. You really think that the Most High God would be that cruel to us in the first place? You get one opportunity, and this is all you're going to get. For whatever reason, you just rolled, you cast the lot and came up, with the shit end of the stick, and this is your life for 8 years. You're just going to be beaten and molested, and that's it. After that, you're done. You understand? You're just done. That's terribly wicked. Oh, what about those aborted babies? Didn't even have an opportunity to live in the first place. That's the only life that they get, or they don't even get to take their first breath. That don't even make sense. If we all Christians love to talk about how God is such, is a loving God. Don't get me wrong, but that's the only thing they talk about. The only way that they describe the Most High God, that He is a God of love, and that, and hey, He's merciful. How is that a merciful and how would that be a merciful and loving act? Where the only life that you get, like, that was almost a waste of time to do that, to even allow somebody to be conceived. Understand what I'm saying? It's almost a waste of time. You think that the Most High God would waste His time in the first place? Understand? We're talking about a God who's not even going to listen to us because we don't know how to act. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make no doggone sense. But you know what does make sense? Having regeneration. The concept of you coming back to pay for the sins that you had committed in this life, your next life, you understand? Or to reap the benefits of your righteousness in this life, the next life. You understand? That makes sense. It doesn't make sense to really believe that these doggone devils are just going to get away. You know, they got to, you know, have their little 80 years during that 500 years of oppressing us here in America. And, you know, they pretty much died happy. They died in a seat of power, and, you know, they lived the life that they wanted, and that's it. That's exactly why the scripture says, prepare their children for slaughter. You understand? You know why their children are going to be slaughtered? And even though that Christians let us say, well, you know, that was 400 years ago. That was 500 years ago. That wasn't me who did that. I didn't enslave. Yes, you did. It was you. You don't remember it, and it's cool. I know you did, because that's what the Bible said. And the Bible said to put your ass on the chopping block. And I'm going to chop that up with 2 chops to the neck with a goddamn axe. Gotta hit that second one just to make sure it's a good, clean, just thorough. Chop that goddamn head off. You know what I'm saying? And you deserve it. That's what the Bible says you deserve it. God said that's coming your way for what y'all have done to me and my people. Salakia. You understand? We already read verse 18, right? Let's read that again, Salakia, from the top. Verse 17, all flesh waxeth old as a garment, for the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death. We understand that. Verse 18, as of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow. So is the generation of flesh and blood, man. That's kind of, you know, that's literally just a metaphor of, man, every, you know, all throughout that tree's life. The tree is also a metaphor for family tree. You know, it's your family tree. Constantly, that family tree is having somebody die and somebody growing, somebody being born and somebody passing. You understand? So is the generation of flesh and blood. So the metaphor was to talk about, you know, a tree. But then right here, made it blatantly clear. This is how flesh and blood works. The same exact way. There's going to be death. There's going to be life. And it's going to cycle, you know, it's going to keep rinsing and repeating. You understand? For the covenant, Salakia, one cometh to an end and another is born. When you die, you are setting yourself, when you die, you are now making yourself eligible to be born again and have a brand new body. You understand? Just think about it. Now, I'm only 29 years old, about to be 30 this year. That's crazy. But I'm only 29 years old. My body has been broken since, 2017? So since I was 24. You know, the idea of, or just having the knowledge that this isn't the end of, you know, my life once this flesh, you know, once this flesh gives up my spirit, is very, how I want to say this. Knowing that this isn't it for me, having this destroyed ass body by the time I was 24 years old, my knees is messed up. My back is messed up. My hip is messed up. Mind you, I'm 29 years old and I got goddamn bodily injuries as if I'm a 60-year-old man. You understand? And mind you, I still got another 30 years before I get to that point. Just imagine how terrible, man, life is going to partially suck because, you know, hey, like I'm in constant pain. Knowing that this, you know, once this ends, that's not it. And that's a beautiful thing for me to think about. That I'll get to be a kid again. I'll be able to actually, you know, I ain't running right now because I'm a fat ass, but I'll get there again. But you know what I'm saying? To be able to just be a kid again and just run. Because you know, when you was a kid, you used to run just to freaking run. You know, for those of y'all that are parents, man, you damn near gotta yell at your kid. Man, why are you yelling? Why are you running? Quit running. You running just to be running. Calm down. Sit your ass down. And to be that kid again, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful and comforting thing to know That is what is in store, you know, at a later date. But right now, I got a job to do right now, which is to wake up my people, to edify my people on the laws, statutes, and commandments, on their actual history. And quite frankly, part of that history is helping y'all understand, teaching y'all that when the Most High God made that covenant with our forefathers, he made that covenant with you. You understand? He made that covenant with you. There was a promise between you and the Most High God. To understand that, I pray that you do. I pray that y'all do understand that. That's why we cannot play around with this Bible. We cannot play around with the Most High God. You understand? Because there was something that very, very serious and important was established between you and the Most High God. You are like the Most High God and your forefathers, which was you. You understand? When Moses went up to Mount Sinai to go get them commandments and whatnot, man, that was your goofy ass making, you know, that golden calf with Aaron and everybody. You know, that was your goofy ass. Pissed off Moses. You pissed off Moses. Understand that? You did. You were delivered out of the hands of Egypt. Okay. Y'all understand this? I pray that y'all do understand this. All right. You know, in the ISUPK, our job is to wash Christianity away. Christianity is just trying to get you to finally take a goddamn bath because, you know, your pits is hot. That's why they dunk you in the water. They damn near let you know. You know, you might as well go get it. The Christianity should have little punch cards for, you know, for baptisms. You get, you know, like a free ice cream or something like that when you hit your 12th one, or, you know, something like that. Because, I mean, hell, for some of y'all, that's the only time that y'all get, you know, your funky asses in the goddamn bath, in the water, is when you just need the water of Christ, the water, I don't even know what the hell y'all call it. It's like I was baptized. My pops would have let me, you know, Most High Christ for that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, slack. Let's go ahead and drop that. All right. We're going to go to the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 15. Book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 15. Yeah, I pray that y'all do understand it, man. This is not something to play with. Y'all sitting here trying to live your lives like, oh, YOLO. Okay, your ass ain't gonna be saying YOLO when your ass is born with, you know, you die in this life, you return, now you got a cleft lip, you know, you got a foot that's big, one foot is bigger than the other. You understand? You born blind, you born dumb. You know what I'm saying? You born with whatever type of deficiency that, quite frankly, you deserve. You worked for it. You know how you work for it? Because of all the actions that you do in this life, you working for your consequences in the next life, whether it's righteous consequences or ungodly, you know, whether it's a good reward or an evil reward. You understand? You Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to be more mindful of how we conduct ourselves in this life. You understand? Hey, shalom, sis. Good to see you in the class. You understand? Because you think that you're getting away scot-free in this life. You take things to the grave, whatever. Nobody finds out some of the terrible things that you did. It's just between you and the person that you did whatever terrible thing to and or with, right? Guess who does know? Most High God. What you doing in the dark, man? Don't think that, you know, what you doing in the dark won't ever come to light. What you do in the dark won't be dealt with. Oh no, you're gonna get dealt with. It might be in the next life. It might be in this life. You understand? But you're gonna get dealt with. Y'all, we have to be more mindful of this. Just imagine from the time that you were a child your parents were teaching you, listen, the way that you act now is going to determine the rest of your life, how things are going to be for you for the rest of your life. And it's like my father used to have this conversation with me. You know, he ain't, aside from me, you know, teaching him that he's an Israelite and whatnot, he was never on this, but he had the spirit though. He's always had that spirit of the Lord. You understand? Obviously, right? Being taught from the time that you're a child that your actions now do have a consequence, sometimes immediately or sometimes down the road, teaches your child to be more mindful of what the hell that they do. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine if you had that opportunity, somebody to teach and guide you from the time that you was a little one. Chances are a lot of the mistakes that you make, that you've made, that sometimes, you know, you sitting there in your room, a dark room, just like, man, why did I do that? I wish I'd never, you know, sitting there just reminiscing and regretting the things that you've done. Now, mind you, I ain't saying that, you know, I don't have any regrets to an extent. I mean, there's some things I wish I would have done, some things I wish I didn't do. Of course, one of the biggest things is joining the Eastside military, keeping it a buck with y'all, which is why my body's all busted up and broken down. Probably, you know, part of my freaking punishment for being stupid, enlisting in their military, right? But, you know, I still made those mistakes. So while you sitting there, you know, just like you did, that's why, you know, we all have them little moments where, man, I wish I would have never done that. I'm sure if my father taught me about this regeneration, that like, listen, your consequences go a little bit deeper than what the hell happens to you in this life. Your consequences go as deep to what's going to happen to you in your next life. Well, you start instilling that into your child, man, them little terrorists, they gonna think twice before acting a goddamn fool. Cause like, man, I'm about to get my ass whooped 2 times in 2 lifetimes. I'm gonna get my ass whooped here today, and then I'm gonna get my ass whooped tomorrow in the year 21, 23. Kind of a con, Dad. Kind of con, Ma. Whatever you need. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna make you think twice before you actually, you know, you do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Hell, it sure as hell has me thinking twice before I do anything, period. Especially now, you know, for one, because I know things is, you know, it's high time for us to get ourselves right. But, you know, it's also because, man, I don't want to go through the same nonsense in my next life that I went through in this life. I don't want it to get worse. I don't want the opportunity for it to be worse. You understand? I'm good. Y'all can have that. It's lucky. I'll reserve that for them doggone devils. You understand? Because you know what? Quite frankly, when I get regenerated into the kingdom, it's lucky. I want to be one of them ones beating their ass because they dumbasses, you know, did something stupid. They brought my wife or my wives the wrong cup of water. And I'm going to beat their ass. You know why? Because they did that to us. And it's righteous. And I want to be able to cast that righteous punishment on them goddamn heathens. I want that. But I got to get myself right in this life so I can have it in the next life. Y'all understand that? I pray that y'all understand what I just said. I pray that you do. Because if you do, man, you're going to start getting yourself right so that you can have that same opportunity that I'm working for right now so that I can have it. And I pray that you want that for yourself as well. Man, it's a lucky. Keep it a buck, man. We got them doggone devils and slaves. Bro, my wives ain't walking nowhere. You got me too. They ain't walking nowhere. But they be, you know, like in them movies, they be parading around like the king and, you know, the empress and stuff like that. And they holding up that little bed thing. Man, that's gonna be my wives. So lucky. You got me twisted. And a woman get married to me in the goddamn kingdom and I get that crown of rulership, man, my wives is gonna be loving it. ain't got to do a goddamn thing. And let one of them slip up. Let one of them heathens slip up and cause one of my wives to lift a doggone finger. I'm removing your finger. You understand? And you know what? That's righteous because that's what they've done to us time and time again. All throughout them 500 years, what, you think you only lived once during that 500 years? No, you had it several times. You got your back tore up several times. You understand? Them devils did that to you several times. So you goddamn best believe I'm going to do it to them several times. Several times, several. Salaki. You understand? All right, let's get back on the topic. Let's get back on the what we was going to read. This is the book of Acts, chapter 24 and verse 15. And have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. So this lets you know that, man, everybody is going to get resurrected. Everybody is going to be regenerated. There is no escaping your judgment. Nobody is getting out of their judgment. The heathens ain't getting away from it. And you, the Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation men and women, you are not escaping your judgment. You could put it like this, the only get out of jail free pass or mercy, what else? Like how else we put it? For Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men and women, the only pass that we get is acknowledging what Christ died for and not allowing that to be in vain. Not allowing that to be a pointless death, because it was a death of an innocent man. He died for you, Black, Hispanic, and the First Nation men and women. We put him on that cross. You did. You understand? You did. But you know what? It won't be in vain if you get yourself right in this life now. And the crazy thing is, man, Hawashai Mashiach is such an amazing brother. Y'all do realize that he forgave you already, right? He forgave you for putting him up on that cross, going through that. And for him to be put through that. There's a reason why they use those crucifix crosses, right? There's a certain way, obviously, they nail the hands and the feet in a certain way. Okay. And then while somebody is on the crucifix, they take a spear and stab you under a certain rib. So you'll slowly bleed out. You're hanging by nails, mind you. You're slowly bleeding out. And where they stab you, I can't remember which rib it is, but basically it's so that every time you take a breath, it's the most excruciating thing. It's the most excruciating pain. You understand? And of course, we know, hey, man, that sure as hell is a white boy tactic to make something just sadistic and just as painful as possible. We know them devils do that. But what I need y'all to understand as well is you are responsible for him being put up on that cross. Because we don't know how to act and we don't have love for our own. So the one absolute innocent man, we set him up to be crucified. He forgave you for that because he's still, think about it. He's still, right now, he's waiting to return to deliver you out of the hands of these oppressors. He is waiting for you to get yourself right so he can deliver you out of the hands of these oppressors. You understand that? If that's not showing that he already forgave you, I don't know. I don't know how else do you show forgiveness? How else do you show mercy? Because you know what? You don't deserve mercy. Hell, you don't even deserve grace. But he died for that opportunity. You understand? And hell, we taking this long. Think about how long ago, that's over 2,000 years that Yahushua was killed on that cross. Think about just how many times you could have possibly been regenerated back onto this earth. And you can't get yourself right. You understand? And you keep on, each time that you're regenerated and Christ had a return, that's because as a whole, as an entire nation, from the Israelite nation, Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women, as a whole, we continuously act as if his death was pointless, had no meaning to us, which is why we keep coming. That's why we keep getting regenerated back into oppression. You understand? That's why this continues. You understand? We gotta do better to stop this process. You understand? And it all starts with y'all getting in these doggone classes, ISUPK classes, liking and sharing. You understand? Learning who you are, learning these laws, statutes, and commandments. Coming to the Passover, you understand? April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Make sure that you there, because that is a commandment to be there at the Lord's Passover. You understand? That's how you start getting yourself right. That's how you start adding the meaning of Yahushua's death. You're giving it meaning. You're making it, how I want to say, you're just not allowing it to, his death to be in vain. I pray that you understand it, because that's something very important. And a great and innocent man, your king died for you so that you can die and be regenerated hundreds of times to finally get it right. You understand? He died for that. He died for that. Because had he not have, man, hey, if the Lord so decided and chose to, man, he could have let us all die off like the Tasmanian people. You understand? The so-called white man, they have caused races of people to go extinct out of wickedness. It was no, this is manifest destiny. This is the Lord, God's will. Because obviously they're not conducting God's will like that. No, it's like it. You understand? No, them wicked bastards tried to kill off our Gadite brothers and sisters, the so-called Native Americans. Tried to. That genocide of, the European man coming to North America, if it hadn't been for the love and mercy of the Most High, man, chances are the Gadites would have been killed off, dead. The only way that people would know about Native Americans is freaking Halloween, when they try to dress up like them. You understand? We could have ended up just like the Tasmanian people. I believe the last man and woman died in like 1930, 1940. I know they had pictures. They had pictures at that time. So it's like somewhere in the early 1900s. You understand? They got killed off, man. They killed them people all the way off in the island of Tasmania. You understand? Of course, they didn't have the protection of the Most High, but they're done. They can't be regenerated. They have no seed to be regenerated from. You understand? What was that? 24 and 15, right? Let's read that again from the top. And have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. Everybody get resurrected, because everybody is going to see their judgment. Everybody is going to, and my father likes to say, face the music of which they played. You understand? Everyone has to face it. There's no escaping. You understand? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 7. right. It's the book of Revelation, right? It's 1 and 7. There's a book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. This is talking about Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? Or Jesus, or as the world ignorantly knows him as Jesus Christ. And they also have pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so be it. Or amen. Amen. Salah. You understand? Let's break that down. Behold, he cometh with clouds. So Yahweh is coming with clouds. You know what those clouds are? Chariots. When Yahweh returns to the earth, he coming with chariots, an army of doggone chariots. Or as you know, the world ignorantly refers it to as UFOs. And ISUPK, they IFOs. They are identified flying objects. We know what they are. That's the Lord's army. That's them angels. You understand? When Yahweh Shai returns, he's coming with an army of them. You understand? Because like we talked about earlier, Christ ain't coming, to dance and frolic and play and bring peace to kumbaya. Man, so let me pull that real quick so y'all can see, what Christ said he is returning for and with. You understand? So y'all can't say, oh, this is what a rock said. No, this is what the Bible said. This is what Yahweh Shai himself said. You understand? 10 and 34. Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34, which is written in red, right? Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. Christ just said, Yahweh Shai just said, don't think that I'm coming to bring peace. So that nonsense that the Christians be teaching, that Yahweh Shai is returning to kumbaya and everybody hold hands all across the world, and everything is just be so nice and cuddly and just gay. You understand? Gay. Y'all, Christian churches teaching you that them homosexuals that the Bible calls an abomination, Christ is coming to kumbaya with them. Yahweh Shai followed the law. You understand? Yahweh Shai hates what the Lord hates. Let me say that one more time. Jesus Christ hates what God hates. You understand that? And you know what God hates? You know what he finds disgusting? Homosexuality. So guess what? So does Christ. You understand that? I mean, that's the point of, Christ saying that him and the Father are one. They're on one accord. Because what God loves, Christ loves. That's why Christ loves you so goddamn much. You understand? That's why Christ loves you so doggone much. He gave his life for you. There's no greater act of love than for someone to give their life for someone else. And Christ did that for you, Black man, Hispanic man, First Nation man, and women. He did that for you. You understand? Let's go ahead and read that, finish that. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I am come not to send peace, but a sword. What is a sword used for? Cutting bread? This said a sword, not a knife. You understand? What's a sword for? What is a sword symbolic for? You think that these swords, you think that we put these swords on our banner because we're trying to kumbaya? Come on now. We are the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. Let's be practical. Let's use some practicality. Let's be practical now. What is a sword used for? I see some of y'all in the chat. Somebody in the chat tell me what a sword is used for. Baba Kasha. See if y'all understand where I'm going with this. Yeah, a few more moments. I want somebody in the chat. One of y'all in the chat. Tell me what a sword is made for, is used for. You understand? What is the purpose of a sword? To kill? Okay, you're right. You are right. It's used to kill, but why? Why? Why is it? Where is it used to kill? Give me a little bit more on that. I mean, you are right. Christ is coming to kill with that doggone sword. But I mean, what like to kill in what context? For what? Give you one more shot at that, and then I'm gonna whatchamacallit. And I'll give you the answer if you don't give me what exactly I'm looking for. You are right though, sis. Don't get it twisted. In a fight during war, that's that word right there. War. It's for war. So, and when you all you needed to do, that's exactly what I wanted, sis. The water. Get a sister in hand, Salaki. Get a sister in hand, right? So you basically replace the word sword with war. Let's read it again. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. He ain't coming to send peace. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Replace sword with war, but a war. He's coming to bring war. Bruh. Let us not forget what was written in the book of Exodus. The Most High God is a man of war. Didn't we also just discuss that Christ said that him and the Father are one? They're on one accord. So it sounds like we apply a little practical knowledge. Sounds to me that Christ is a man of war himself. Y'all understand that? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Slocky. Like, all right, so we understand that though. Christ wasn't coming to. Christ is not coming to bring peace and kumbaya and be friends with everybody. Christ is coming to bring war, and that war that he's coming to bring is for you, black man. It's for you, Hispanic man, First Nation man and woman. He's doing that for you. You understand? So let's go back to Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds. Them clouds, like we discussed, are them chariots. Because, man, them chariots are coming to destroy this earth. So, like it, this world, I should say, the world that we live in right now, the world being the white man's world. You understand? That is oppressing us. He's coming to destroy that. You understand? And every eye shall see him. Right? So everyone's going to see this. Everyone is going to bear witness to Yahushua destroying the so-called white man. All right? And they also, which pierced him. So like when, where I was kind of explaining to y'all earlier, the way that, these disgusting devils, like to torture people. The man that actually pierced Christ in the ribs, so that every time he took a breath, it was just agonizing pain. Even he is going to see Christ's return. How? How is it that this man lived 2,000 years ago? How is it that the man that pierced Christ, is going to be able to see Christ's return? A man that lived 2,000 years ago. How is that possible? Y'all want to take a stab at it? Anybody online? Give y'all a few seconds online. How is it? Go ahead, young man. Can I get my drink? Of course, yeah, go ahead. How is it that the man who pierced Christ 2,000 years ago is going to bear witness to Christ returning 2,000 years later? Sister said, dead has to arise. Okay, what context? Like, what do you mean by that? The dead has to arise. What you mean by that? What do you mean by dead has to arise? Give me more. You're pretty much right there. You're correct with that. But what do you mean by that? Give me more. Mind you, when I'm asking a question, give me an answer. I'm asking the question like I'm pretending to be a dumb Christian. So I need you to, answer my question like you would a dumb Christian. I need more. I need to understand, right? Like awake for his return, sir. Okay, so no. Think about what the topic is. It's going to be regenerated. That man who died 2,000 years ago is walking the earth right now. Again. You understand that? Just like how when you lived 2,000 years ago, you walking the earth right now because you've been regenerated. You understand that? And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. You understand? Everybody is going to bear witness to Christ's return. Everyone's going to see it. All the families of the earth. You understand? Nobody is going to miss out on this amazing event that is going to happen on earth. And that's the guy, and that's Yahushua destroying the so-called white man and what he built, the evil empire that he's built on this earth. Don't think it just stops there. And Christ is coming to mess up them goddamn Chinese too, and them goddamn Japanese too, and them so-called Africans too. Anybody that's oppressing them, all of them will be destroyed. They will be destroyed in such a manner that, as you know, just to paraphrase it, we're not going to pull it, but like what the scripture says, they're going to take their weapons and beat it to the ground to basically use as tools to till the ground. You understand that? Christ is going to return to beat the fight out of them. He's going to beat them. He's going to destroy them so bad that they're going to take their own weapons. You know what? I do have a gun, but it's not to shoot. It's to do what you want. You want me to till this land? Okay, I'm going to turn the soil so I can plant these seeds for you, out of one. So I could do your will, out of one. You understand? Well, they're going to be calling you, black man, my Lord, King. You understand that? These devils will be at your feet. These heathens will be at your feet, calling you, sir, calling you, Lord. You understand that? That's all right. We'll talk about it, young man. Don't sweat it. Oh, Most High Christ, sis. You got a question? Go ahead.
Can I get one with that?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. I like you, man. You ain't afraid to ask a question. I like that. All right. Let's see. So now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 12. Book of Romans 5 and 12. All right. This is the book of Romans, chapter 5 and verse 12. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. Y'all know who that one man is? Come on, sis, take a stab at it. Who's that one man? Why not? Just take a quick stab. No sweat. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. Who's that one man is referring to? It's Adam. Adam is that one man. There's a point. The reason why we're talking about Adam right now, right? Especially with this topic being regeneration. All right. I'm going to go to read verse 13. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. So that also lets you know that these other nations, they can't sin because they don't have the law. The law is not given to them. You understand? Of course, you can precept that with the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verses 19 through 20. For the law was only given to Jacob. Only Jacob has the law. So that lets you know that everybody else, they're not sinning. They're just showing how wicked they are and how wicked you can be without the law. You understand? Verse 14. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who is the figure of him that was to come. Y'all know who it is that was to come? Who was referring to that was to come? Go ahead.
Who's death?
Who's who?
Who's death?
Death?
Yeah.
Death is, that's when you die. It's death.
I think you were talking about that movie about the person who's movie.
No. No. All right. So when it says death reigned from Adam to Moses, that's what you're talking about. It's just saying that people were dying in sin from the time of Adam to Moses. Does that make sense? Sorry, we'll talk about it later. All right. That's what I asked. So who is the figure of them was to come? Who is that figure? Who is that man? Man, that's Yahushua. You understand? Let's go to. Oh, so like no, that's actually we're already there. Adam, the figure of Yahushua. Y'all gotta understand this as well. Adam is Yahushua. Y'all know that, right? No sweat. We'll talk about it. We'll go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 45. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. So Adam that we read about in the book of Genesis in the beginning, he was the first one to be made into a living soul. Okay? How did he become a living soul? Because he was given the law. The law is what gives us life. Without the law, you're just, like that show, The Walking Dead. You understand? You're just walking to and fro the earth, just eating and doing whatever lustful desires that you desire. You're just fulfilling all of your many bodily desires. We'll say that by eating and doing whatever the hell that you want. Right? Well, Adam was the first one to stop doing that. Adam was the first one to live. And so, of course, when you learn to be alive, you want to hold on to that. And how do you do that? Follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. You do as the Lord commands you. Because that's how you keep your life. You understand? And the last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Now, hold on. How many times have we read the word Adam, or the name Adam throughout the Bible? As far as I know, Adam was only talked about in just the book of Genesis. His name gets mentioned throughout the Bible from thenceforth. But Adam, it's saying that there's another Adam, there's a last Adam. Who's the last Adam? No sweat. Sis? You don't know who the last Adam is?
Oh, I didn't answer.
No sweat. Man, that last Adam. Who was given a quickening spirit in the Bible? And Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew, or as the world ignorantly knows him in English as Jesus Christ, has that quickening spirit. So in other words, Adam is Christ. Christ is Adam. I'm going to further prove that as well. Right? Go to Revelation. I believe it's 22. Give me 1 second. I'll wait for you. Go to the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 12, written in red, which means this is Christ speaking, right? And behold, I come quickly. Oh, whoa. Isn't that something? That quickening spirit we just talked about, right? And my reward is with me to give every man according according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The first and the last what? Let's see the first and the last. Is he the first and the last person? Practical knowledge, we understand in the ISUPK that Adam and Eve weren't the first people on the face of the earth. So we know that Christ is not saying, he was the first person on earth. and he's going to be the last person. I mean, as far as I know, Christ was here 2,000 years ago. Pretty sure that there's been children been born since then, right? Being practical. So what is he the first and last of? He's the first Adam and the last Adam. In other words, even Christ was regenerated. You understand? Which also lets you know this is one of them double-edged swords where it shows you that regeneration is real. And who online, who can tell me what this also cuts? Understanding that Christ was regenerated just like you and me. Hint, hint. What else is cut in the same process? What else is eliminated that is so commonly taught? So like, yeah, no, almost on crisis. I'm glad that I could teach you something. Sir, right? And then the sister said Christ, which is also correct. What else is what other doctrine is eliminated, is cut just by understanding that regeneration, Christ was regenerated? Give y'all a few minutes. So you know what, we'll save heaven and hell for next class. We'll get this answered and then hit this last verse and then we'll wrap this up. What's that? Nobody online wants to give a stab at it? No, you don't want to take a stab at it? Go ahead.
Why did Mama never answer a single question?
Statute commandments. Nah, it says la'ah. That is not it. It does not cut the statute of commandments. Let's make sure we raise our hand, all right? While I'm teaching the class. So, like the Holy Trinity? No. I mean, I can see why you would say that just because of the fact that knowing that Christ was Adam and was regenerated, that eliminates, you know, the Holy Trinity of him being God, the Holy Spirit, and Christ. But that's also, you know, that kind of steps into the answer that I'm looking for. Laws? No, it does not cut the laws. Go ahead.
Can I go to the bathroom?
You sure can. You know where it's at? You do? Okay, go ahead. It's not the laws. Think about what I just said. Think about it. Cuts. Understanding that Christ was regenerated. Christ was Adam, and he was also Christ, obviously. And in fact, there's 5 appearances that we actually know of Christ throughout the Bible. He's Adam, Melchizedek, Isaac, King Solomon, and then Christ. Those are his 5 biblical appearances. You understand? No, it is not heavens and the earth. All right. Those are 5 appearances. How is it? I'm going to give y'all the answer now. How is it that Christ is able to be regenerated, which to have regeneration, you need the seed of a man. In other words, a man needs to have sex with a woman to regenerate someone in his family, to bring them back, because that's what a baby is, right? We all understand that. We all understand the birds and the bees. Never really understood that analogy, but we all understand that we know how babies are made, right? Well, now we're also starting to understand how you are regenerated, which you are carried through the seed of the Father to be brought back. How is it that Christ can be Adam, Prince Melchizedek, Isaac, King Solomon, and Christ if Mary immaculately conceived Yahweh Shai Mashiach? So not only do we prove with that one verse in Revelations chapter 22 that regeneration is real, because he just said right there, he said that I am the first and the last. He's the first and the last Adam. You understand? How is that possible for him to be Adam if Christ was immaculately conceived? Again, we are the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, emphasizing practical knowledge. In fact, emphasizing universal practical knowledge, because we're not just practical when it comes to the Bible. We're practical about all things, which, you got to be practical with life and how the cycle of life even works in the first place. So from this, we should all understand that for Adam to be Christ, for King Solomon to be Christ, for Isaac to be Christ, Prince Melchizedek to be Christ, all 5 of these people are the same person. It seems to me that on 5 different occasions that we can account for in the Bible, a man took his rod and inserted it inside of a woman and conceived this man. But hey, we're the ISUPK, where we deal with universal practical knowledge. I would love for a Christian to make sense out of that. All right, so I would love for a Christian to dispute what was just said. Please, a Christian, I beg of you, explain Immaculate Conception to me now. I passed the class for you to have the opportunity to teach everyone that is viewing this class how Immaculate Conception even makes sense. How Christ can be Adam, all five of those individuals, but yet when he was Christ, he's immaculately conceived. Oh wait, in fact, while you type that up and give us your bullshit story and bullshit doctrine, we're gonna move on and get this last verse so we can wrap up this class, right? And then I'll revisit to make sure that your ridiculous doctrine is read and heard, right? So now we're gonna go to the book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 1. The book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, or Jesus Christ in the English, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Okay, hold on. Let's put the brakes real quick. Because now it's saying that he's the son of David and the son of Abraham. Didn't I just tell y'all that Christ was Isaac? Who is the father of Isaac? Anybody know? Anybody want to take a stab at it? That's all right. We're short on time, so I'll give it to y'all. Isaac's father is Abraham. What did we just read? The son of David. Oh, that's not his father. The son of Abraham. Oh, wow. It's a little crazy once you remove the ookie spookiness off of the Bible and you start being practical, right? Now we understand that Christ was regenerated. But wait, there's more. It also said that he was the son of David. Who is David's son that we all know? People love to talk about David's son. It's King Solomon. You understand that? So not only is it saying that Yahushua is the son of Abraham and David because of the fact that he comes from that lineage. One second, hold your point. Because he comes from that lineage, but quite frankly, he was the direct son of Abraham and David because he is Isaac. He was Isaac, and he was King Solomon. Y'all understand? Go ahead.
You almost said Hammerhead Lincoln.
What's that?
You almost said Hammerhead Lincoln.
Nah, I didn't say it. Oh, okay, I see what you said. Because Abraham, that's a different Abraham. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln is a devil who hates blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. He hates us. Sure, he was the president of the United States, and of course they push. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation and freed, our people. But what they don't teach you in school is what he said, that if he didn't have to free, if he could keep us enslaved, he would have kept us enslaved. You know why? Ultimately, he's a greedy bastard who hates us and was only going to do what was necessary to benefit himself and his people. All right. So let's go ahead and read that from the top. The book of the generation of Yahushua Mashiach, the son of David, King Solomon, the son of Abraham, Isaac, or just the fact that he comes from that lineage. And we just discussed that. How is somebody brought back and regenerated? Through the seed of their father. Their father having sex with a woman and inserting his seed into that woman brings forth that man, brings forth that woman to be regenerated back into the earth. You understand? Guess what? Christ went through the same thing. Christ himself. Let's read more on that. Verse 2, Abraham begat Isaac. Oh, see, there you go. Isaac is the son of Abraham. And Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. And Judas begat Perez, Salakim, and Zerah of Thamar. And Perez begat Ishram, and Ishram begat Aram. And Aram began Adab. Actually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip down to verse 16. This is just going through the generation, what the fathers were. Like it goes from Abraham all the way down to to David, and then from David to Solomon all the way down to verse 16, which reads, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, whom was born Yahushua, who is called Christ. Understand? So let's read that again. And Jacob begat Joseph. So Joseph, his lineage goes all the way back to where? Go ahead.
Who's Joseph?
Joseph is the father of Jesus Christ. That's his father. His wife was Mary. Joseph and Mary did some adult things to bring forth a child like yourself, by which his name being Jesus Christ. You understand? No, what don't you understand?
It just doesn't make any sense.
No sweat.
No, I never learned about this.
Huh?
I never learned about this before.
That's all right, and that's why it's an amazing thing that you are here in class, so that you can learn these things, so that you can obtain that knowledge. You understand? They can't. They still 1979. You understand? So Jesus, his lineage, and quite frankly Joseph, their lineage goes all the way back to Abraham and King David. Regeneration is real, y'all. All right. And so with that, the following class that I teach, like I said earlier, we'll get into what heaven and hell the reality of what heaven and hell is, and we'll break that down. So, that way we can also dispute that. So now we've obtained an understanding of what actually happens after death. You understand? After this life, what actually happens? You get regenerated to live all over again, to carry out the consequences of your actions from the previous life. You understand? So now we're going to go through and dispute that Christian disgusting doctrine of what heaven and hell really is. You understand? That heaven and hell is not somewhere that based off of how good of a person you were, this is where you're going to go. We're going to dispute that. All right. And so with that, class dismissed.